This is my mom, my dad, and my brother. People consider Harvard graduates and those with many different degrees to be very intelligent people. I agree that this shows a lot of dedication and smarts. However, I believe those who train in an instrument acquire a different type of unique intelligence. Learning an instrument is immensely beneficial to a person in many ways and should be introduced in school curriculum to children early on in the curriculum. When I was 8 to 16 years old, I was classically trained in piano, and I have myself experienced the benefits of learning an instrument. I was always a good student, but when I was learning piano, I was an even better one, and I showed more focus in school. I've also talked to many doctors and surgeons, and they all had an interest in an instrument at one point in their lives. I would discuss first the main issue that music will solve, neurological function of the brain while learning an instrument, and the emotional impact that learning an instrument has on children. Learning an instrument will decrease developmental issues in the brain while children are learning, as it enhances their learning abilities. Flores on EdSource says that nearly 90% of our public schools are failing to align their educational offerings with the state standards. So many schools are not meeting the musical education needs that they know their students need. Statistics have shown that those who have musical education at their fingertips are 5 times less likely to drop out, 4 times more likely to be recognized for academic achievement, and 4 times more likely to get their bachelor's degree. It is harmful to not have music within the school because this is ridding your children of enhancing their language, as it will give them the key brain exercise to learning and enhancing their reading and writing and math skills. But because this is hard with no sufficient funds, it becomes an issue. There are many ways to enhance life for a student, and here are just a few different ways. You might see a musician playing and it seems effortless, but when you see the brain scans of just listening to music, you see that there are different parts of your brain that are working all at once. Then when scientists see the brain while you're actually playing and holding the instrument, reading music all at once, it shows fireworks in the brain. Collins on TED Ed says that by learning this, it strengthens a bunch of neuron pathways and creates new ways for learning in the brain. This is because you're using your motor, auditory, and visual parts all together at once, which strengthens your brain as a whole. Shudrock on brainfacts.org mentions a study done on children who train with an instrument for 15 months, and they show a stronger functional and developmental enhancement in the hippocampus of the brain, which is affecting your learning and your memory. So scientists conclude that learning an instrument may enhance generation of new neurons in the brain. Frontiers of science show that scans of the brain of musicians versus non-musicians is very significantly different, where the musicians have more white matter developed in their brain and normal non-musicians do not have as much. And white matter is important for receiving and sending out signals from your brain to your body, which affects your focus, learning, and staying focused and balanced. Saklasa at Instruments of Knowledge confirms that the cognitive abilities of learning an instrument strengthens your corpus callosum, which is the bridge between your right and left hemisphere of your brain. And this is found to be enlarged in musicians. Nutt on Washington Post discusses how playing an instrument leads to emotional and behavioral maturity. As you use the music as an emotional outlet, it betters how children express their emotions and how they act out towards other children. Montgomery at Pearson Family Foundation creates an ongoing list of reasons why this also benefits their behavior. This will benefit their patience and discipline as they go through the repetition of practicing and will mature their work ethic. This will also help with anxiety and stress as they repeat the song and practice and learn the music, and this will help them study better and perform better in class. This will help them stay organized, focused, and help them problem solve and be a better source of a person to their peers. Now that I've discussed the scientific and emotional aspects that music and learning an instrument can do for a person, I'm going to tell you how we can incorporate it in our education or at home. Collins at ABC Education informs that from policy to statewide programs, the financial support is being authorized in some states, but it's definitely hard to get funding for many schools, so we definitely have to implement it at home so parents can get their kids together, do group lessons, or they can encourage their child to do it on their own. But because it's such an issue for schools to actually fund the program, you might have to do it locally within your community to strengthen the musical environment around your child. By strengthening the core bridge of both sides of your brain, you will be enhancing your learning and your problem-solving skills and focus and many important traits you need for success. And music education and learning the skill of functioning an actual instrument will help your brain function even stronger, which is why I think it's so important for students to experience learning an instrument within the school's curriculum. The rate of success within those who show disciplinary benefits is much higher with those that do learn instruments, and it will help their brain function, emotional well-being, and their learning in school. Albert Einstein once said, "I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music." So what is stopping you from putting your child in that successful position and giving them more learning opportunities?
Woo!